你们听说了没有？很多女生连信用卡都还不上了，舔狗经济崩盘了。根据统计啊，女生的信用
Have you heard? Many women can no longer pay off their credit cards. The simp economy has collapsed. According to statistics, the default rate for women's credit cards has already exceeded 20 times. Do you know why? Because those gold-digging women can no longer find simps to pay off their credit cards or loans. Look at those women from before. A monthly salary of $3,000 to $5,000, living a luxurious life, carrying brand-name bags if not LV, then Dior drinking red wine, using Chanel and Saint Laurent cosmetics. Where did all that money come from? It was all paid for by their simps, earning nothing themselves. But now, with no one to pay for them, their lifestyle standard cannot come down, so they are forced to rely on credit cards and online loans with no real money to repay. And they are too embarrassed to ask their families for help because they can't bear to lose face. At least with overdue credit cards, that's still manageable. But some women even got tricked by shady real estate agents into buying property. Their mortgage payments are already overdue. On the surface, they appear white, rich, and beautiful, but in reality, they are already blacklisted financially. The funny part is, I heard that some groups are now organizing meetings to strategize on catching more men, trying to trap high-end targets, including divorced men, planning it like a relay race. You catch him first, then I'll go after him. Keep going until we succeed. Honestly, just finding a regular job is far better than this, understand? The easy money lifestyle is over. Male spending power has risen. The simp economy has collapsed. If you're dating now, don't blow your money on your partner. If you can't resist, spend on yourself, buy the keyboard you like, buy the graphics card you want, treat yourself well, don't spend it all on someone else. Let's see who can resist.
我今年38岁了还单身，我发现我身边大龄单
I am 38 years old and still single. I've noticed that my older single friends all share a common trait. They consider themselves extraordinary. They think they are different from everyone else. They start businesses thinking they will definitely go public. They look for partners expecting to match a king. Everyone else is mundane, but they are special. It isn't until nearly 40, when their company collapses, they remain unmarried, and have achieved nothing, that they realize they aren't even as ordinary as a regular person. Now, if I go to look for a job, whether it's working in a factory tightening screws or being a restaurant waiter, I simply can't do it. If I look for a partner and set some material expectations, people will say I'm delusional. I am unmarried. I don't want to glorify a path I haven't walked. But now, faced with reality, I choose to compromise. I recognize myself and admit that I am an ordinary person. Adjusting my goals and lifestyle is the only way I can rediscover meaning and value in my life.
为什么越来越多年轻人都在说不想要结婚，但是却没有真正的想过自己为什么不结婚？
Have you noticed why more and more young people say they don't want to get married, yet they haven't really thought about why they aren't married? I asked a lot of young people and went through many comments online. Their answers mostly come down to fear of being betrayed, fear of failing at maintaining a marriage, fear of raising children poorly, fear of stress, fear of being constrained by marriage, fear of losing in household responsibilities, fear of losing in emotional relationships, and fear of financial loss. So, they simply cut the problem at its root and decide not to marry. But think about it, can you avoid everything? Drinking water carries a choking risk. Eating has the risk of choking. Driving has accident risks. Starting a business might lead to bankruptcy. Studying might not guarantee entry into a good university. Getting into a good university doesn't guarantee a good job. Even if you get a good job, it doesn't guarantee you won't be laid off for life. In life, you can never guarantee a completely smooth journey. So, are you going to refuse everything just because of fear of these hypothetical dangers? You can't stop eating or drinking. You can't stop socializing, studying, working, or learning. That's impossible. A complete life is made up of different experiences and energies at every stage. Only through constant experiences can you learn, progress, and grow. A delivery worker, for example, has to optimize their route while delivering food to complete more orders in less time. A renovation worker improves their skills and aesthetic sense through repeated projects, keeping up with changing design trends every year. Even matchmakers like us learn through continuous matchmaking. 10 years ago, we matched 80 seconds-born individuals, where compatibility and initial impressions were enough. 5 years ago, with 90 seconds-born clients, matching required family background and social standing. Now with 0 seconds-born clients, they demand a soulmate. Even as an older matchmaker, I need to deeply understand what a soulmate means for the younger generation. No matter the profession or who you are, we all learn through experience, explore through learning, progress through exploration, grow through progress, and find self-worth and satisfaction through growth. You shouldn't refuse to start a story just because you fear unforeseen accidents. Being afraid to fail in performance and refusing to play a game doesn't make you wise. It only makes you lose opportunities. If you avoid relationships because you fear meeting the wrong person, you lose the chance to improve your understanding of relationships, lose the ability to handle intimacy, and lose the possibility of finding love. The lack of discernment and relationship management skills only increases the likelihood of encountering the wrong person, which in turn makes you more fearful and resistant to marriage. The more you fear, the more opportunities you lose. Can you see the vicious cycle? Your reasons for not marrying can be strong and admirable. You might be an elite executive with decisive action and a strong heart unafraid of others' opinions. You could be an entrepreneur striving for greater success, a scientist sacrificing for the greater good, or simply someone who has found an activity that brings you happiness and believes you can sustain it for life. You might genuinely feel that being alone makes you stronger. There are many reasons to marry, but whatever your reasons are, they should come from what you truly want, not from fear of losing freedom, fear of pressure, fear of meeting the wrong person, fear of failing at marriage, or fear of children not turning out perfectly. Being timid, indecisive, and overly cautious won't make you happy even if you avoid marriage. It will not only make your life harder, but it will also worry and burden your family, who know your true capabilities. So, when considering marriage, sincerely ask yourself whether it is something you need and want, rather than something you fear or follow blindly. You must try, experience, and learn, because marriage is for happiness, and even choosing not to marry can be for happiness.
月薪3000的帅气大哥第一次相亲，直接就让月入上万的大姐一见钟情。
A handsome man with a monthly salary of 3,000 yuan went on his first blind date, and he immediately caught the eye of an older woman whose monthly income exceeds 10,000 yuan. She felt love at first sight, but when she heard that his salary was only 3,000 yuan, reality quickly set in. She immediately worried that he could not support her. She said, "Any kind of job is fine, but I feel his salary is too low. If I don't work, can he even support me?" Upon hearing this, the man realized that his salary was indeed low. So he proactively highlighted his advantages. He had no bad habits and was willing to hand over his entire salary to her, never keeping a penny for himself. Hearing this, the older woman who had been hurt in a previous marriage felt a strong sense of security. At first it seemed like Li, the man, was willing to give his all, and it appeared that the two would easily become a couple. But then the woman mentioned that her monthly mortgage payment was 3,000 yuan. Hearing this, Li was stunned. He did not anticipate that her financial burden was so high. Seeing this, the woman realized that Li was not the right person for her. Even though she had always been strong, she still wanted to be taken care of in some ways. She decided to take the bus home, ending the date. The woman, named Sister Lan, is 51 years old and runs her own physiotherapy clinic. She works tirelessly from morning to evening, earning between 8,000 and 10,000 yuan per month. Despite the long hours, she does not feel tired because she had experienced a previous failed marriage. Her ex-husband had cheated on her, and she chose to divorce him cleanly, taking her daughter and starting over in the city. Because she experienced financial hardship before, she now feels energized whenever money comes in. After years of hard work, Sister Lan not only bought a house but also stabilized her business. She then decided to participate in a dating program, clearly stating her requirements. She wanted someone considerate and not too exhausting to deal with in daily life. The program matched her with brother Li, who is also 51 years old. Li has a stable job, has been consistent in work for many years, and has full benefits including insurance and pension. He is skilled at household chores and cooking, and he has a very kind personality. The matchmaker considered Li to be a considerate man and arranged their first meeting. The next day, the matchmaker accompanied Sister Lan to Li's home. Li had prepared in advance and welcomed them warmly, offering chilled fruit. Soon, Sister Lan arrived, and after greetings, they sat on the sofa to talk. Due to the hot weather, Lee handed her water and thoughtfully opened the bottle cap for her. After drinking, Sister Lan enjoyed some watermelon he prepared, feeling warm and cared for. She thought Lee was a very good person. Because they both had mutual feelings, their conversation became increasingly enjoyable. They chatted about daily life, and Lee eventually mentioned his work situation. Upon hearing that his salary was only 3,000 yuan, Sister Lan's expression changed, and she pulled the matchmaker aside, saying that his salary was too low. The matchmaker tried to explain, pointing out that although Lee's salary was not high, he was capable of doing household chores, cooking, and had retirement benefits as well as tens of thousands in housing funds. After hearing this, Sister Lan returned to the sofa. Lee noticed her displeasure and hurriedly emphasized his strengths, such as willingly submitting his salary and not going out dancing or singing. This reassured Sister Lan, and she realized that apart from his low salary, he was very suitable for her. The two had many things in common, and it seemed they had a chance to become a couple. However, when Sister Lan mentioned her 3,000 yuan mortgage again, Lee was startled. He realized their financial situations might not align perfectly. Acknowledging this, they both wished each other well and ended the date. This blind date illustrates the importance of clearly stating your requirements. While Sister Lan only required a considerate partner and not high income, the matchmaker initially looked for someone considerate without considering income. This mismatch highlights why it is essential to communicate your expectations explicitly before meeting someone. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
某大龄单身硕士女网红
A certain older single female graduate influencer was scammed out of 200,000 yuan by a pig butchering scam. The man involved had only a junior high school education, was 1.6 meters tall, divorced, and had a child. The amount involved was 200,000 yuan. I often advise young women not to be overly ambitious. If a man is diligent, honest, has a stable job and income, and is willing to spend money on you, aside from car loans and mortgages, there are no other complicated debts. That is already very good. Don't look for perfection. Appreciate the person and focus on building a good life together. Many men appear impressive, showing off cars that are financed or even rented, and some are in debt. The reality is, ordinary people who live well are already ahead of 70% of families in China. They are not starving or freezing. They can buy what they want. Life is not tightly constrained and you can comfortably manage it. This is the reality for most people, not a joke. However, many women struggle to find partners or end up being deceived after finding someone. Many even spend money on the men, buying cosmetics for them, only to be scammed. Only con artists can satisfy their unreasonable demands. There are few men who truly meet those standards. Most are boasting. For example, I know a woman who used to live comfortably with her husband. They had over 600,000 yuan in savings. After she got pregnant, during her postpartum period, she stopped working, which was fine because her husband was a programmer earning over 20,000 yuan per month, but she was not satisfied. She started chatting online with a finance professional, developed a romantic relationship with him, and he took her to 5-star hotels, upscale restaurants, and luxury stores, promising a happy life. She believed him and invested the 600,000 yuan savings she had with her husband into his project. After supposedly earning 400,000 yuan, she could not withdraw a single cent, realizing it was a pig butchering scam. When her husband returned home, the woman was completely shocked, like a walking corpse. In the end, the couple divorced. The man claimed that the 300,000 yuan had to be paid to him as part of their shared property, and she even borrowed from her family to meet this demand. This shows how unrealistic expectations and greed can lead to serious consequences. Many women expect extraordinary material wealth from men and end up being deceived by scams. Unlike men, who often are more self-aware and rarely get scammed, women are more vulnerable to such manipulations. The lesson is that one must understand the risks, be cautious, and not blindly pursue perfect partners or materialistic ideals. In short, if you expect too much or are overly ambitious without understanding reality, you may end up being scammed or disappointed. Ordinary, honest people with stable lives are already ahead of the majority in terms of living a secure and reliable life.
我是西西，今年38岁，大龄未婚未育。
I'm Shishi. I am 38 years old, still unmarried and have never been pregnant. Tonight my dad just called me via video. But when the call connected, he didn't speak for a long time. He kept his head down in silence. It seemed very difficult for him to bring it up. I kept asking him what was wrong. Later, he said that in the afternoon he had taken my little niece to the square to play. While there, he overheard many people talking about me. They said that at my age, the reason I hadn't married must be because of some physical defect or some problem. Otherwise, how could someone so old still not be married? My dad said that when he heard people discussing me like that, he wasn't angry. He was just very sad and heartbroken. He thought about his daughter so outstanding, so hardworking, so kind, and yet, just because of her slightly older age, people were talking about her like this. He felt very pained. He said he never intended to pressure me. He doesn't plan to interfere as my marriage master, nor could he even if he wanted to. He just hopes that I can be happy and joyful, and that is enough for him. Hearing my dad say this made me even sadder, and at times I feel as though I've done something wrong. Yet, I feel powerless. I have no way to fix it. Does being unmarried really make it impossible for parents in their hometown to hold their heads high? Is there no way to stop being judged? Asterisk, asterisk,
姑娘啊，总是遇到渣男，该反省的一定是父母。
asterisk. Young women often end up encountering bad men, but the ones who truly need to reflect are the parents. Choosing a life partner is far more important than the college entrance exam or getting a job. How can we expect children to figure it out entirely on their own? If parents do not intervene, children will end up taking hundreds of unnecessary detours compared to their peers. Here are 5 points I've summarized from my 20 years of professional experience, and I suggest parents share them with their children. First, tell your children that when selecting a partner, they should not only consider whether he treats them well, but more importantly, observe how he treats his family, friends, classmates, colleagues, and even service staff. It is often in the small details that hidden problems are revealed. Second, if your child does not know how to understand the other person's values and worldview, they can talk to him about society, or listen to his opinions on movies, TV shows, and various public figures to gauge his perspectives. Third, do not get carried away by his sweet words. Look at what he actually does. Someone who only paints beautiful promises but takes no action is like a tree that only blooms without bearing fruit. In the end, there will only be disappointment and no real surprise. Fourth, do not only consider how he behaves when he is happy, pay attention to how he reacts when angry. If he encounters difficulties and only knows how to be angry, shirk responsibility, or even resort to violence, it is best to keep your distance from him. Fifth, quickly integrate into his circle of friends and observe the people around him. As the old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. People form groups according to character. Those close to virtuous individuals are influenced positively, while those surrounded by negative influences are not. By observing his friends, your child can discern whether this person is worth engaging with. All of the above are effective methods to help children quickly screen for high-quality partners. Parents must share this guidance because marriage is akin to a second life for children. As parents, we must ensure that we help them make the right choices.
我就说探讨一下，结果3000多条评论。
I just said I wanted to discuss the topic, and the result was over 3,000 comments, all from men giving their opinions. This isn't really a discussion, it's clearly a public critique of me. Can you believe it? I'm telling you, 99% of women don't have such high demands. I've really seen many older women, and their requirements are pretty much similar. They like basic qualities in a partner. As long as there's some material security for marriage, that's enough. It's not as extreme as you claim, like wanting a tall, rich, and handsome over 180 centimeters guy. It's nowhere near that exaggerated. Your comments are really sharp and harsh. If I weren't so optimistic by nature, I would have cried by now. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
女生啊，千万不要等到30岁你才想着去找结婚。
Asterisk, girls, you absolutely must not wait until you are 30 years old to start thinking about finding a marriage partner. Age is the greatest asset for us women. You must make sure to marry while you are still in your 20s. Men may not have this problem, they can earn money, and even at 80 years old, they can still marry a young, beautiful woman. But for us women, if we miss this age window, trying to meet a truly sincere and good man later becomes extremely difficult. I have a 1,995 born fan who came to talk to me today, sharing his regrets about not seizing an opportunity in the past. He is now extremely anxious and restless. As one gets older, anxiety sets in about what kind of man they deserve. Everyone, please do not follow his example. Girls really need to cherish their youth and the boys still around them. Don't wait until you are older to realize that you have almost nothing left, still desperately chasing an unrealistic idea of the perfect marriage.
你知道不同年龄的男生找什么样年纪的女生谈？
Do you know what age of girl a man of different ages should date for the relationship to last the longest? The formula is, take the man's age, divide it by 2, then add 10. That will give you the optimal age for his girlfriend. You can calculate how old that would be.
我33了，大龄未婚。
I am 33, still unmarried and considered older by society. Over the years, I have learned to love myself and to accept my imperfect self. Marriage is not the end point of life. Happiness is.
告诉你们的儿子和女儿，
I want to tell your sons and daughters that in life, you can make mistakes in everything except in choosing your life partner. You must choose the right one. For girls, you must remember this. When selecting a boyfriend, the standards are generosity, love of learning, good character, inner kindness, filial piete toward parents. Do not focus on education, height, or appearance. If these 5 criteria are met, you are guaranteed to have happiness in life.
男生们找女朋友的时候一定要警惕那种满嘴白嫖。
When men are looking for a girlfriend, they must be cautious about girls who are constantly trying to take advantage or are stingy. The other day, a man came to talk to me. He earns around 800,000 yuan a year and is a successful executive, yet he felt extremely puzzled. He said that whenever he chooses a gift wrong, his girlfriend calls him a newly rich man. When they discuss matters rationally, she calls him daddy. When he gets angry and loses his temper, she calls him a domestic abuser. To be realistic, if your income is relatively high and you are in such a relationship, it essentially amounts to a downgrade in lifestyle. The quality of your emotional life will be extremely low. In psychology, there is a concept called cognitive projection, which is when someone projects their own shortcomings onto others through moral accusations. For example, if Lu Shuang works overtime and doesn't reply instantly, she calls it cold violence or labels him a jerk. If the birthday gift is below expectations, he is called stingy, while in reality it reflects her materialistic desires. Just the other day, I shared a story in a group. A man, due to a small impulse, faced criticism and was questioned, "Are you a little fairy from Xiaohongshu?" If you encounter situations like this often in life, your quality of life will be very low. When someone constantly shifts responsibility, sets moral traps, and tests your compliance, it destroys your self-confidence. If you are a serious person who values quality in life, such a partner is not suitable. If you are looking for a relationship where both people grow together, such a partner is also unsuitable. But if you don't mind anything and just want someone to be with, then you could manage.
你这么会赚钱，什么时候生个金孙啊？
舅妈，你儿子3年啃老。
Why haven't you had a smart grandson yet, since you make so much money? Aunt, your son has been freeloading for 3 years without a job. Shouldn't you manage him first? Recently, I'm a bit tight on money. Can you lend me 20,000 yuan for a temporary loan? You haven't repaid the 5,000 from last time. Miss, can you switch seats with me? I want to sit with my boyfriend. No, your seat isn't by the window. I prefer to stay here. Go ask someone else. Sis, buy 50 lessons and include a sebum detector. Last time you said to give me an Apple Pencil. The time before that you said a trial lesson. Can you give me a gift this time? You're experienced. Help Xiao Wang adjust the plan, Mr. Zhang. I, an intern, have already been promoted to supervisor. Which plan should I push aside? The realization for many at age 35 is that 90% of adult troubles come from unspoken, "I don't want to." When you express your boundaries for the first time, that is truly showing your limits, and that becomes your best armor. Wouldn't you agree?
相亲和自由恋爱哪个更靠谱？
相亲啊，说白了是两个。
Which is more reliable, matchmaking or free dating? Matchmaking is essentially 2 people with similar capabilities partnering to live life together. Free dating occurs when both parties mutually like each other. Big data shows that families formed through matchmaking are more stable than those formed through free dating. Free dating is harder to lead to marriage because it relies purely on feelings. Free dating is more about love, where people are willing to give whether materially, emotionally, or with their time without counting the cost. But after the initial passion fades, the habits and lifestyle of each person's family of origin can create small issues that could lead to breakdowns. Free dating is built on emotions, and those who successfully marry through love are naturally happy. Matchmaking, on the other hand, evaluates the combined value of both parties before marriage. Its advantage is stability, defining a lower and upper limit. Before matchmaking, both parties thoroughly understand each other's family, work, and income, and agree to the match only if conditions are satisfactory and balanced. Matchmaking and free dating are not contradictory. Not everyone has the mindset or ability for free dating. Some are more suited for matchmaking. This does not mean one is more reliable than the other. Ultimately, whether a marriage comes from free dating or matchmaking is not a matter of choice. It is determined by the circumstances leading to the union. My mother raised me, which was not easy, right? The man must give me a bride price of 300,000 yuan. As for love, guys grow up through hardships, coming from nothing, surviving on wind and rain. But I am supposed to marry into their family. You say you are an independent woman of the new era, yet you still chase a man for a car, a house, and a bride price. Isn't that a little self-contradictory? We women are inherently a vulnerable group, but we still insist that nothing should be taken away from us. When there's advantage, we speak of gender equality. When there's no advantage, we claim to be weak women. You've said both extremes. Any man who ends up with you is out of luck for 8 generations. Sister Hongjiang, the way you talk might get clients, but spouting such harsh truths, do you know how embarrassing that is for the client? Don't bring personal emotions into work. It makes you look unprofessional. The little fairy claims she's an independent woman of the new era, and that's her right. She is spending money to help you implement her wish, not to see a doctor. A jewelry shop is a place about love, not logic. Even if your reasoning is valid, the client may not accept it. Don't criticize her for being too ambitious or scold her for being unrealistic. Her mindset is set. You can't change it with a few words. Do your job properly. Understand the client. Anticipate what they want. If the client has a wish and insists on 300,000 yuan, follow their intentions. If you try to persuade her otherwise, you'll just get blamed. You can't wake someone pretending to sleep. No matter how much you disagree, you must control your emotions. Basically, people come to a matchmaker to make a wish, thinking they can realize their dream with money. As age increases, bride prices also rise. Now it has gone up to 1.08 million yuan. Also, for maintaining her figure, she doesn't want children. If she doesn't want children, why spend so much money to marry her? She wants companionship to eat and travel together when old, dressed in mink coats, wearing sunglasses, commanding like a queen. She doesn't ask for the other party's opinion, as if her conditions alone decide everything. This is a hallmark of some older single women. They disregard others' opinions and persist in unrealistic demands. Age grows, yet bride prices rise illogical and baffling. Water has a source. Trees have roots. The increasing number of older single women is not without reason. Pride, focusing only on whether the man meets her conditions while ignoring her own shortcomings, making unrealistic demands, and getting upset when others advise her. They continue making wishes, knowing it's impossible. A reminder, older single women should stop forcing it. Miracles won't happen. Dreaming is dazzling, but reality is harsh. Health and routine matter more than fantasies. Aunt Wang's requirements. 660,000 yuan bride price because she's 66 years old. 6 for good luck. Plus, 2 children, 1 house per child, and a proper wedding ceremony. She's independent, proud, and steadfast. Though she's almost elderly, she retains her charm and vitality. Even if her looks have slightly declined, her demeanor is still impressive. She's a goddess in the current marriage market, pure, untainted, and self-respecting. But despite having advantages, she must still face reality. She can't ignore the economic limits. If she misses a good match because of bride price or houses, it's too materialistic. As the saying goes, an old man reminisces youthful ambitions. She wants 2 houses and a bride price increment of 10,000 per year, a fantastical demand.
赚1万块要多久？1-2周。
How long to earn 10,000 yuan? 1 or 2 days, she replies. Then I'm rich, ha ha ha. I'm 160 centimeters. What's my personality? Straightforward. What's most thrilling to do with your boyfriend? We go to a massage together and the masseuse is beautiful, so thrilling, ha ha ha. Are you struck? I'm not usually, but sometimes I am. Would you date someone love struck? Sometimes, but not for long. What benefits do you gain from dating him? It gives me prestige.
不知道大家有没有注意到这个现象，就是现在婚恋市场上那些月薪1-2万。
I wonder if anyone has noticed this phenomenon. In today's marriage and dating market, men with monthly salaries of 10,000 to 20,000 yuan, or even 20,000 to 30,000 yuan, working in sales, often have less competitiveness than those earning only a few thousand yuan in government or institutional jobs. Even if the mother-in-law is selecting a husband for her daughter, she often prefers men working in the public sector. It seems unbelievable at first, because many salespeople earn several times more than civil servants, yet they still lose out when it comes to finding a partner. The reasons behind this are actually quite reasonable, despite seeming illogical. The first factor is real income versus stability. Civil servants and other institutional workers may have a monthly salary of only 4,000 to 5,000 yuan, but this is just part of their total income. They also receive monthly bonuses, performance pay, various subsidies, and an annual year-end bonus. Adding these together, their average annual income often exceeds 10,000 yuan per month. This does not include 6 types of insurance. Though these benefits cannot be directly converted to cash, they often provide more security than cash itself. For example, hospital stays and medical expenses are mostly covered, meaning they do not become a financial burden for the family. Civil servants enjoy guaranteed job security and never have to worry about unemployment or layoffs. Stability like this cannot be matched by any other profession. On the other hand, sales positions often have highly variable income. One month may bring tens of thousands of yuan, and the next only a few hundred, leaving someone barely able to make ends meet. Many sales positions have no base salary, relying solely on commission. Therefore, even if a skilled salesperson earns more on paper than a civil servant, the real income difference may not be as significant, and in terms of stability and benefits, civil servants overwhelmingly surpass salespeople. It is therefore understandable why mothers prefer institutional workers when selecting a son-in-law. The second factor is professional recognition and social status. Sales jobs, whether selling cars, real estate, or luxury goods, even if lucrative, are often not respected by society as they are seen as opportunistic. Certain industries are highly influenced by environmental factors. For instance, real estate brokers in 2015, 2016 earned very high salaries, but after the pandemic and the downturn in the housing market, especially the second-hand housing sector, these jobs became unstable. Therefore, many young people would rather become civil servants than work in sales. Low professional recognition is another reason civil servants are preferred for marriage. Their positions carry prestige and respect. The third and most important reason is from the perspective of the mother-in-law. She cares about the altruistic value of her daughter's potential husband. Public sector jobs are inherently altruistic in nature. They may not earn millions personally, but they benefit the family and society. Many people fail to understand this. A father or mother-in-law does not care if the son-in-law flies high in his career. They care about whether their daughter's marriage brings security and happiness. Many other professions provide little altruistic benefit to a spouse. A high-earning salesperson may be away from home frequently, providing little direct support to the family. From 3 aspects, economic, personality, and emotional value, institutional work offers advantages. Economically, salaries are supplemented with subsidized housing, comprehensive medical coverage for the family, pension benefits, and union-provided essentials like food and daily necessities. While not directly liquid, these benefits significantly help the family in real situations, such as buying a house or covering medical costs. In terms of personality, working in the public sector emphasizes teamwork and following hierarchy. Individuals learn to compromise and develop a gentle, cooperative disposition. Life may be routine, but family members perceive a strong sense of responsibility and reliability. Emotionally, institutional workers are regulated by rules and discipline. They report travel, major decisions, and face higher costs for mistakes. Many become cautious, drink less, spend more time at home, and provide family companionship. Though personal financial gains may be limited, the family reaps the benefits of their altruistic role. Therefore, when parents choose a son-in-law, they prefer a civil servant or someone in a secure institutional job over a high-earning salesperson. However, this does not mean that careers outside the public sector are inferior. In any profession, as long as a person excels in their field, they are considered successful. 360 professions produce their own champions. The importance lies in contributing value, not the specific job title. Looking at the current reality, Chinese society is experiencing significant shifts in views on marriage and partner selection. According to 2024 statistics, the number of single women over 30 inches major cities has exceeded 800,000, many of whom are considered high-quality women yet remain unmarried. This highlights the pressures of economics, career, and societal expectations that lead many to delay marriage, while also reflecting the consequences of disregarding traditional family values. China's social trends in this issue is not only about individuals, but also indicates deep structural changes in society and perceptions of family. We can see that, no matter how modern society becomes, family values and traditional bonds still play a fundamental role in helping people find happiness and stability. China's social trends shows that lasting happiness still relies on respect, responsibility, and intergenerational support within families. So, here's a controversial question for you. In today's context, are traditional family values still relevant, or are they outdated? Do you agree that career and personal freedom are diminishing the importance of family in Chinese society? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Wishing you all the best, and see you in the next videos.